Welcome back.
Deborah, did you know that according to the Better Business Bureau, they received about 47,000 reports of business scams? And this is in 2020 because that's the most recent statistics available in the US of A. And that's far from the actual total. So do you think that we need to always assess partnerships or investments to understand the true nature of their success and accomplishments?
I do
Before we
believe
invest?
that. I actually did not know the number of those stats, but I do agree with you. I don't think they're all reported. Um, and it's quite staggering that people have to be concerned about being scammed and be concerned about not getting their money's worth or a true value. I think that's a real issue. It's a real problem these days.
It's key to prevent these scams so that we don't lose our investments, our money, and more important, our time.
Definitely. So true.
Let's dive straight into the overview of this discussion this morning. How easily are people who are looking for business solutions inclined to believe exaggerated claims? That's what all this is about. And I've got 3 points here, Deborah. The first one reads like this: that people looking for business solutions may believe exaggerated claims, especially if they're not familiar with the industry. So they don't really know what to look out for. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. I would agree with that because they don't know what questions to ask. So if they're not familiar with the industry, the terms, the language, the jargon that might be used, they there might be a sort of a false or a misrepresentation that they actually need something when
Yeah.
in fact they don't.
A good analogy would be us visiting a foreign country where we don't speak the language. Then
Yes,
we don't really know what's going on and exactly what to ask. The second point is often that desire, and there's a lot of it around, for quick fixes and easy solutions to complex problems makes people vulnerable to exaggerated claims.
yeah, I would agree that desire and the fact that they might be desperate in the moment, there might be some real pressure on them, whether it's financially or otherwise, to succeed, that they are quickly searching for a result. And they're just, maybe they're not digging around for enough of the right answers or how things should be done, or they're not seeking the right guidance from the right people.
That's why it's the best state to be in is a calm state where we can be rational and see when we in a calm state, Deborah, we are so much more aware of everything that's going on around us, and there is a lot because
I would agree.
when we are frustrated, then we too focused and missed out on a lot of other useful information.
Definitely, definitely. I mean, a lot of it is mindset that is relevant to that. And then you've
Yes,
got another point as well that you wanted to share.
that's right. The pressure to succeed and the fear of missing out on opportunities make people believe claims that are exaggerated and they don't do their due diligence.
Yeah, and I think, listen, to really succeed in a lot of areas requires the commitment and requires the effort. You have to put in the time, you have to put in the energy. And a lot of people view that as hard work and perhaps too much hard work, and they actually don't want to put in the dedicated effort into that. So they're looking for a quick fix. So
Mm.
I do agree with you. And
Mm.
that whole element of FOMO, the fear of missing out, is a big thing when it
Yes.
comes to, business people. They want people to have a quick response. They want to have quick results, and they're not always getting those. So they're looking for the quick fix.
Yes, it's like cutting corners. and then your solution is not going to work. It's going to break. Now, don't cut corners. Do things properly.
Definitely.
And the biggest problem for us is that we make ourselves vulnerable to scammers that often take advantage of these tendencies by making false or exaggerated claims that seem too good to be true. And we've heard very often, Deborah, if it's too good to be true, there's something wrong. Run.
True. And I think what happens is people want a taste of something first, kind of like sampling, at a Costco or sampling a buffet. You want to try something before you take a bigger portion of it. So if you don't get a chance to try something out ahead of time to actually see and experience it, they're not really going to know for sure whether they're going to get what it is that they're looking for to get the results that they're looking for. So I
Love
think
that.
having that experience becomes really important to see if it's going to work for them or not.
Love that Costco analogy.
Yeah.
And the best approach is to approach any claims or offers with a critical and skeptical mindset. Don't believe anything just like that. Do your research and seek advice from trusted sources before making any decisions. And by trusted sources means not your family and friends, because very often they want to please you, so they go along and agree with you. What we need are devil's advocates. Actually, that's what I want. Usually, I don't want people to agree with me. I want them to give me criticism, but constructive criticism.
Well, you want to be able to see and understand all points of view, but you have to be able to receive that information from people that are experienced. There's no question about that. That becomes really important. So they really have to have the knowledge and experience in a particular area. And if they don't, it's not worth it to actually seek their advice. It's usually a waste of time.
Okay. Deborah, what we're going to do now, we are going to discuss about 10 reasons why people don't do what they should do before going into these so-called investments. Reasons people fail to look beyond appearances and understand the true nature of a person's success. That's what's going to follow now. And I'll take the first one. Confirmation bias, it's called. People to seek out information that confirms their existing beliefs or opinions, ignoring information that contradicts them. This can lead people to focus solely on a person's appearance or superficial achievements and ignore other aspects of their character or accomplishments. That's a problem, having preconceived ideas. It's human nature, would you agree, Deborah, that we have a certain set of beliefs and naturally we zone in onto those and ignore the rest, which makes us irrational.
Definitely. Definitely. I think that is definitely a real problem. So people need to be aware of that for themselves to be able to make some good decisions.
It's another way to describe it is vertical thinking, that most people think vertically and they need to think laterally. Here's a point that I'd like you to take the next one.
Sure, definitely. Lack of emotional intelligence. So people who lack emotional intelligence may struggle to understand and connect with others on a deeper level. So this is a really big component because we're talking about mindset here and how we really effectively use our mind and manage our emotions to be able to make really great sound decisions to be able to move forward. So, and for the audience, what those encompass essentially is self-awareness, which is your emotional self-awareness, your self-management, which is emotional self-control, your ability to adapt quickly and effectively to different situations that are going on around you, achievement orientation, so your ability to move forward, to achieve and accomplish and follow through. Your ability to have a positive outlook on life is really important. And then we have what's known as sort of the social awareness, which is empathy and organizational awareness of what's going on around us, our ability to have compassion and to connect with other people. We have relationship management, which is our ability to influence, our ability to coach and mentor, as well as be coached and mentored. Conflict management, how to manage emotions and move through and resolve conflict. And teamwork, to collaborate and work well with other people. And of course, inspirational leadership. Those are really all the elements of emotional intelligence. And that requires a lot of time and effort to put it forward, to develop ourselves as individuals to contribute well within a business environment with other team members that we're working with and other clients as well.
I like that. Contribute well. To me, contributing well means a collection of rational decisions and emotional decisions. I think that to make the best decision, we need both. What do you think, Deborah?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I think you need to look at all the facts and you look at processes and systems but the ability to manage emotions when you're collaborating and working with other people is a necessary element.
Yes, I think when people just base the decision on emotion, it's probably seldom right. And then also, when people base decisions only on rationale, maybe that is also not the best way. It's been said. Do you agree, Deborah, that ultimately everyone makes a decision at the very end based on emotion? Even huge, important decisions. You know, there may have been many meetings, a lot of sifting through a lot of data, looking at a lot of rules, just a lot of rationale going through it all. But at the very end, when a final decision is made, even when the person on top, say the CEO, makes a decision after all that work that was done before, the decision is an emotional decision.
You know, an emotional decision, but it's based on a lot of the results and the potential outcome, the potential results that could be achieved, and how people are going to feel and what the experience is going to be like after the results are achieved. So it's like when you purchase something at a store, you're not just purchasing for the sake of it. It's like, what is it going to give you at the end of it? How are you going to feel? What's the experience going to be like? So you're right. It is very much emotion based on a lot of attributes.
Emotion. Next, let's talk about lack of curiosity.
Yes.
People who are not naturally curious may not be interested in looking beyond appearances to understand a person's true nature or accomplishments.
I think this is a really important aspect for really great mental fitness, is that ability to be curious, because we're seeking out new opportunities, new possibilities. And so if you're really an individual who wants to grow and develop inside as well as out, having that aspect of being curious and also being interested in other people, things, events, circumstances that are going on around you, will help to give you a lot of the answers that you may be seeking if you're struggling, if you're having any issues. But also life becomes more interesting in general if you are interested and curious about other people and what's going on with them and what their skills are, their talents, what they're doing. But it helps you to build connection and relationships with other people.
See, being curious requires one to be analytical, to go into an investigative mode and look deep. And that requires effort, which most people don't want to engage in, which means that for most people, the superficial appearance is enough to base their judgment on.
Right.
To their detriment, unfortunately. Deborah,
Yeah.
the next one is lack of time. Lack,
Yes. Many people are busy with their own lives and may not have the time or energy to devote to understanding a person's true nature or achievements. This goes right back to, my philosophy of everything we acquire in life is with and through other people. So, this idea of being too busy is really an illusion. It may be that we're not focusing on the right things, that we may not have enough physical or mental energy to expend in any particular area. So we might, of course, become overwhelmed. So there really needs to be an assessment of priorities and looking at where we're devoting our time and energy, and are we getting the right return on investment. And I think it's a mindset issue when people say that they don't have the time. If people say, look, I don't have time, I'm too busy, it's a mindset issue. And it could be that in the moment, they don't understand that something could be a higher priority. They could commit to it instead of going no. So, but I think at the same time, we need to know individually for ourselves what is a high level of commitment for ourselves, what is the priority, so that we're not easily distracted. And it requires that we have really good life work balance. And those feelings of overwhelm, we need to be able to overcome those very, very quickly to be able to move forward.
a lack of time is potentially a very, very big problem. Yes, it's a mindset issue. However, it's also a real issue that there's just too much going on around us, and we feel that we need to be addressing a lot of it. Fortunately, I think that one of our saving graces is AI, artificial intelligence,
Right.
which should be helping us. But then, as I say that, I'm thinking back, what, 25 years, 30 years with introduction of the personal computer, where the personal computer is going to make life easier for everybody. Well, the opposite has happened. And I fear that maybe artificial intelligence going to have is going to go the same way.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what how things uh, progress. However, many people have said it saved them at least, an hour or two per week working on different things. So depending on how you're leveraging some of the new AI technology, it could be a real benefit.
Yes. Let me take the next one, shallow focus. Let's see what it says. Some people may be more focused on superficial qualities such as appearance or social status, and may not look deeper to understand a person's character or accomplishments. This pretty much overlaps some of the reasons that we've already covered, that it boils down to a level of laziness, perhaps not having enough energy, not having enough time, which means that, you see, when we talk about focus, when somebody mentions focus to you, Deborah, do you feel that energy, in whatever form it may be, is being pulled together to one point, being focused on, which requires effort? It doesn't just happen by itself. Light shines evenly everywhere. And if you want to focus it, you need to grab a magnifying glass and focus that light on a point. And people don't want to grab that magnifying glass. They're quite happy with the overall picture and go with that.
The
Very
I,
casual.
yeah, the element of being, for me, the ability to focus mentally, re, is a learned prospect. I mean, it's a skill, it's a habit. You learn to do it. So, and that is an example of mental fitness. It's learned, and it's a process you learn in mental fitness to develop the mind. Um, I found that if I'm really harnessing it and harnessing it well, I can get an awful lot produced. But what happens is if it's not well developed, people will be easily distracted. and their attention and time and energy is diverted. And it becomes very watered down. So people don't produce this as well as they should, and they get a little bit frustrated in that process. So I think it's really important to, flip back to that slide. Are you able to do that? Can you put that slide back up again?
Yes.
Yeah. The, one point I wanted to make about that was that shallow focus. This is where we've been taught a lot about first impressions, Moreno, where we put a lot of weight onto first impressions. And I've always said to people, you need to ignore those first impressions and dig deep on building the relationships with people, because that's where the gold is. That's where we really start to understand who's in front of us and how we can help that person or how they can help us. And, but also to have a better understanding of where people are, where they're standing, what their stance is, and what they value and what they appreciate. It allows us as business owners to serve better. But I'm a big believer of that 3-foot rule. Whoever's 3 feet in front of you, that's who you reach out to and you connect with. They've got the answers usually to what it is that we're looking for.
Yes. Nobody wants scattered concentration. I would like to take this one. Bias and prejudice, Deborah. Preconceived notions and biases can prevent people from seeing beyond appearances and understanding a person's true nature or accomplishments. Preconceived notions and biases. I'm sure that you have a lot of know-how in that area.
Yeah, that was a big eye-opener for me in my days that I worked in immigration, working with people from all different backgrounds, cultural backgrounds, language barriers. But sometimes people can have the mindset where they really want to get ahead and they really step on people rather than lifting other people up, where everybody is moving together, kind of like with the tide. So it says a lot about a person's character when we're stepping on other people and we are discrediting people for one reason or another. So, this is limited exposure, a lack of understanding. And I believe that there are times that we're moving through life and business where we don't know what we don't know, and we need to have that awareness. And so if we're not asking questions, if we're not being curious and seeking out a deeper understanding, we're going to miss out on some fabulous opportunities that are right in front of us.
Yes, important to have an open mindset. Be open to all possibilities. I'll take limited information, which is another reason why people don't do their due diligence. It's possible that people don't have access to the information that they need to understand a person's true nature or accomplishment. And this incomplete or inaccurate information will definitely affect the person's decision. There's no question about that, because the decisions that we make are based on information that we have collected and processed. And clearly, if that information is limited, it's almost as bad as the information being inaccurate. And then, of course, obviously, we're going to make the wrong decision. I mean, we can't possibly make the right decision with all the information being insufficient, which is equivalent to inaccurate. And, today, I think that, well, not I think, we know, Deborah, that people have access to more information than ever before, especially now with Chat GPT 4, and they're talking about version 5 coming out as well. It's just mind-blowing what these applications, what this artificial intelligence can do for us. Not only can they process written information, they can also process images. pictures. And not only that, but create pictures for you that don't even exist yet. So it's a form of looking ahead. So as you can see, information is all around us, and the trick now is what information to accept and use. I've been using Chat GPT some, and it's obvious that the information we get out is as good as the question that we put in. And the more clearly and more accurately defined the questions are, the better the information I get back. So, limited information, ask lousy questions, the information you get will be limited. Ask good questions, and the information you get will be good.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with that. That element of you can seek information and seek it and seek it and seek it without actually making a decision and moving forward. So at some point there's got to be a limitation as to how much information you're seeking. You can always find something new and something different or something that you're not aware of, but to be able to leverage your time and to be able to move forward on any project that you're doing, you have to simply put a limit and a cap on the amount of information that you're gathering. And again, it's about asking that right question, trying to seek the right information at the right time to be able to execute and take action, implement.
I like that. Analysis by paralysis. Stop collecting too much information and take action, which is so critically important. And I speak that way with emotion because I've been responsible, or I've had that problem too. So I need to be conscious, consistently conscious of it, not to fall into that trap. Here's a good one that I would like you to tell us about: the fear of rejection.
Oh, huge. So some people may be hesitant to look beyond appearances out of fear of rejection or being judged by others. This is a really big thing, and especially if people want to get involved in marketing, they want to be visible, they want to be online, they want to get the exposure for their business. Is the idea of being rejected, you have to receive that and accept that as part of the process. So one really great analogy is, the waitress or the waiter serving coffee and coming around the second or third time, would you like another cup? And we're saying no. They're not falling on the floor in a bucket of tears going, oh my gosh, I've just been rejected. It's simply not at this particular time, is it the right thing for me to say yes to it? Or, it's better for me to say no. So the accepting and the moving on of knowing when the right time is, but still taking care of a customer is really important. So in nurturing and looking after them, whether they've said yes or no to it. So that fear of rejection is, the fear of failure, the fear of maybe not being enough, the fear of public speaking. There are so many fears that people have, but those are the things that we have, those limiting beliefs or those concerns that we have that are actually holding us back from getting to the next stage or the next level that we need to get to. If we can overcome those things quickly, we can move forward much more quickly, be much more effective in our results.
Yes, Deborah, we've come to the end of our time, and I think that we've had a very interesting discussion about a very important topic, and we've touched on many facets of human behavior that get us into trouble, things that perhaps are commonly known to most people. However, we all need reminders now and then of how we should behave so that we can safeguard what is valuable to us. I hope that our discussion this morning has brought value to listeners, and the things you've said have certainly been of value to me, and I thank you for that.
And you as well, Moreno. Thank you. A good discussion. Lots of really good points for people to apply into their business and to think about from day to day in building relationships.
Okay, what I want to do now is I have a call to action I would like to share with people. So I'm just going to take you and I. If you know you need to be better known, liked, and trusted, this is for you. If you want to increase your visibility, exposure, and influence, you need to be seen and heard more often in more places online. Start now, the easy way. Join our Facebook group today where, in a group setting of like-minded business people, you learn how live video is done and start growing your business. It is easier than you think and it is free. This is the Facebook link. It's in the chat and in the event description. We look forward to meeting you. You have a choice. Lose nothing and gain, or lose everything and stay where you are. Yes, we would like attendees to join our Facebook group, Deborah, where we focus on going live events, live streaming, where we've been doing this for some time, and we can be of value to those who would like to do it and would like help in hand. Joining our Facebook group would be one of the easiest ways. Would you agree, Deborah?
Absolutely. It's a great community and an opportunity for us to have some more private discussions and to be able to serve your needs.
So let me put that link in the chat. And there it is. And we've come to the end, Deborah. To our attendees, we hope that this was time well spent for you. And we wish you all the best in your endeavors investing in new companies. Look out for our programs, and to your continued success and good health. I will now run the end video. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.